So what exactly is the Green Freeport and what does it mean?
So a freeport, or a green freeport as they're known in Scotland, are areas where the UK and Scottish governments and the local authority have got together to create a special set of incentives to encourage investment into our area. And what it means is, if you come here for example and build a factory, that when you start you have tax incentives and tax breaks at the very start. So what it means for us is that when somebody is looking across Europe where to invest and they look at this area, they're more likely to come here, which is a huge benefit to us because it means long-term creation of employment.
I've heard lots of talk about the Green Freeport. Why is it such a big deal?
The Green Freeport is going to be a big deal for this area. There's two main things to consider. One is that for many years we've had an issue with losing our population. So although the overall population looks as if it's staying steady, we're actually losing a lot of our working age population and young people. And we just can't afford for that to keep happening. So this is a real opportunity to address this now and forever. But the other thing that's happening at the same time is that there's a big boom in offshore wind in the North Sea. As you can see from where I'm standing, we've got a lot of wind in this part of the world. So we've got a real opportunity, not just in a Scottish, UK or a European context, but in a global one, for a real centre of excellence for offshore wind. So if we can use that opportunity to address the problem we have in the Highlands with population, this really will be a big deal for the Highlands.
Where is the Green Freeport?
The Green Freeport in our area is actually over several sites. We were allowed to put in various locations in and around the Inner Moray Firth. So in our case, it starts at Port of Nigg and some of the surrounding land, Port of Cromarty Firth, where we are today, Highland Deep Haven, further down the coast, Port of Inverness and some of the land on the campus at Inverness, and lastly, Port of Ardersier. So we've got some great assets that we were able to bring in to the tax sites of the Green Freeport.
Why is it called a Green Freeport?
So the freeports across the UK are focused on many different things. Here at Inverness and Cromarty Firth Green Freeport, our focus is very much on green energy. The Highlands has a long history with green energy. Think about all the hydro schemes that we built over the years. But going forward, our real focus is the big boom in offshore wind. As you can see over my shoulder, we've already got some track record in that area. So this is a Green Freeport because we want to make a huge contribution to the energy transition away from hydrocarbons and towards renewable energy.
I help run a business in the Freeport area. Can businesses benefit from the tax incentives or custom sites?
So for businesses investing or expanding in the tax sites, there are tax incentives, and those sites are really well and clearly defined. But for businesses outside those tax sites, there's going to be a real opportunity for supply chain, and that's going to be really exciting because there's going to be a huge growth in a whole range of services that we need in this area, not just in the Inner Moray Firth, but in the wider Highlands. And that's where the really exciting benefits will come for businesses.
There is already pressure on local housing and services. How will the area cope with this new activity?
There's no doubt that if we succeed in bringing more prosperity and jobs to this area, that there'll be some areas, for example housing and services, where there might be some pinch points. So critical to all of this is a consideration of how we increase the capacity of the area. So we've been working really closely with partners like the Highland Council and housing associations and house builders to think about how we plan for this. It's not all going to happen tomorrow. So we have got a chance here to look forward and consider how we increase the amount of affordable housing and key worker accommodation. So that's an area we're looking closely at. And of course, part of the whole Freeport deal is that our non-domestic rate fund, which isn't lost to this area, is going to be redirected to improving capacity in areas like critical services.
How will the Green Freeport be managed?
So Inverness and Cromarty Firth Green Freeport was established by public and private partners. So we thought the best thing to do would be to create a company limited by guarantee. It's a not-for-profit company. We have oversight from the council as the accountable body in anything we do, and additional layers of oversight, of course, from the Scottish and UK government. and we try to be as transparent as we can in what we're doing and work with our partners to achieve the long-term aims for the area.
If there are thousands of jobs, what type of jobs will these be and where will I find out more about them?
So jobs will come to this area. It won't be tomorrow, but they're going to come over the coming years, and there's going to be a really wide range of employment opportunity, not just in the heavy industries that we've been focusing on for offshore wind and green energy, but also for life sciences, and we're here today at the Inverness campus where a lot of that will happen, we hope. So the way to find out about these, of course, is to go onto websites like the Inverness and Crombie Firth Green Freeport website, but also our partners, because as these jobs come on, the employers and the agencies in the area will promote them as much as we can.